The galaxy was calm, stars shining bright over countless worlds. Trade ships moved between planets, and colonies thrived in peace, but on the edge of known space, the Deathworlders watched with growing unease. Alien fleets, bold and arrogant, had begun raiding remote systems, destroying supply convoys and outposts. Reports of their attacks reached the Council and neighboring species, but their warnings were dismissed, laughed off as exaggeration or fear. On the planet Varnax, Deathworlder scouts observed the invaders in silence. "They are preparing for something bigger," whispered Commander Kale. His crew nodded, tension thick in the air. Sensors showed alien ships gathering, their numbers growing by the day. "This will not end well if we do nothing," Kale said, scanning the distant fleets. The Deathworlders had learned the cost of underestimating their enemies. Their harsh homeworlds had taught them survival, cunning, and ruthlessness. Meanwhile, on the Council's command station, ambassadors debated. "Deathworlders are alarmists," one said, shaking their head. "They exaggerate every threat," another replied. Dismissing the reports, no one wanted to take their warning seriously. The galaxy was comfortable, blind to the danger growing at its edges. But the Deathworlders knew better, and they prepared in secret. Ships moved from hidden bases, weapons were loaded, and crews drilled day and night on Varnax. Young recruits trained under the guidance of veterans, every man and woman learning how to fight, survive, and adapt. "This is not just about defense," Kale told them. "This is about sending a message that we will not be ignored." The recruits listened, eyes wide with determination. Every exercise, every drill, prepared them for the day the invaders would strike. And that day was coming sooner than anyone imagined. Back in the outer systems, alien raiders struck again. Supply stations burned, convoys were destroyed. Colonies screamed for help, messages reached the Council. But still no fleet was sent. Panic grew among the citizens, fear spreading like wildfire. The invaders moved with arrogance, believing the galaxy was weak and unprepared. Every attack strengthened their confidence, every strike proving their dominance. Then, deep within the Deathworlder fleet's hidden base, a signal pulsed across the command nets. Ships and crews were alerted, sensors scanning the void. The warning was clear. The time for secrecy was ending. The fleet, hidden for decades, had been waiting for this moment. Commander Kale watched the signal with calm determination. "This is it," he said softly, eyes on the command screens. "Our people have prepared for centuries, and now the galaxy will see what happens when the Deathworlders act." In distant council chambers, leaders finally noticed unusual activity. Massive ships were moving, engines glowing in the darkness of space. Whispers spread, "What is happening?" No one could predict the fleet's speed, its precision, or its firepower. The Deathworlders had been underestimated, and that mistake would soon cost the arrogant aliens dearly. On Varnax, Kale looked to the horizon. Alien scouts were detected approaching the outer colonies. The calm of the galaxy was ending. The warning ignored had now become inevitable. And the Deathworlders, patient and deadly, were ready to rise and crush the arrogance of those who had dared to dismiss them. The Deathworlder warfleet emerged from the shadows of hidden systems, engines glowing like angry suns. Alien scouts spotted the movement, but it was too late. Massive warships, black and deadly, cut through the void with terrifying speed. Commander Kale watched the alien formation, calculating every move. "They will not see us coming," he said calmly. "We strike with precision." The first salvo hit the alien raiders without warning. Missiles streaked across space, energy beams tearing through hulls. Ships exploded in showers of fire and metal. Alarms screaming through the alien network, the invaders panicked, their formations breaking as their pride and arrogance failed them. Unknown fleet. "They're attacking," one alien commander hissed, but the words trailed off, fear overtaking him. On the bridge of the Deathworlder flagship, crew members worked in perfect synchronization. "Target their command cruiser," Kale ordered. Voice steady, weapons fired with deadly accuracy. Engines maneuvered flawlessly, alien ships tried to respond, launching waves of fighters and plasma. But the Deathworlders were ready, shields absorbing hits, turrets destroying attackers mid-flight. Every strike was calculated, every move predicted. The galaxy had never seen such ruthless efficiency. Colonies near the battle watched the events unfold. Holographic feeds showed alien ships falling before the Deathworlders' assault. People whispered in fear and awe, "They are not just fighting. They are hunting," one child said. Families held each other tightly. Hope rising for the first time since the invasion began. The Deathworlders had shown that even a hidden fleet could decide the fate of entire systems. The aliens regrouped, attempting to mount a counterattack. Massive plasma cannons fired, fighters swarmed the Deathworlder flank. But the hidden fleet anticipated every strike. Shields adjusting instantly, weapons striking with perfect timing. Ships were destroyed faster than the aliens could react. Panic spreading like wildfire through their ranks. "What kind of warriors are these?" One alien screamed, "This is impossible." Commander Kale's eyes scanned the battle. Noting weak points in the alien formation, "Concentrate on their logistics ships," he said. "Cut off their supplies and they crumble." Missiles struck the enemy convoys. Explosions spreading through the cluster. The alien fleet faltered further, some ships fleeing in terror. The Deathworlders pressed forward, relentless and precise. Their first strike was not only a warning, but a declaration. Any who underestimated them would pay a heavy price. Back on Varnax, recruits trained silently. Watching the battle feeds, elders whispered to the young, "This is why our people survive, why we endure, why we strike when the time is right." Every officer knew the galaxy was learning a harsh lesson. The Deathworlders were not just survivors. They were predators honed by harsh worlds, built for war and strategy. And now the first blood had been spilled. As the alien fleet scattered and faltered, Kale gave the order to maintain pressure. "No mercy, no hesitation," he said, eyes burning with resolve. The Deathworlders had struck first, and the galaxy would soon learn that their arrogance had led them into a trap. The stage was set for the full might of the hidden fleet to be revealed. And the Deathworlders would not stop until the lesson was clear to all. The Deathworlder fleet moved like a shadow across the stars. Silent but deadly, alien forces had regrouped, thinking they could recover from the first strike. But Commander Kale knew their arrogance would be their undoing. Every ship in the fleet was designed for survival and destruction, every weapon, every engine. Every shield had been tested in the harshest environments imaginable. The galaxy underestimated them. And that mistake would be costly inside the flagship. The crew worked with calm precision, sensors scanned the alien formation, revealing weaknesses hidden to the enemy. "Command cruisers are concentrating their firepower here," Kale said, pointing to the display. "Target their cores, disable coordination, and the fleet will crumble." Missiles and energy beams were ready, waiting for the perfect moment. Every officer knew their role. Every crew member prepared for battle. They had trained for decades for this moment. And they would not fail. The aliens, meanwhile, struggled to understand the fleet before them. Why are they so fast, so precise, so coordinated? One hissed they had expected disorganized retaliation, a small force to delay them. Instead, they faced a fully prepared armada, a weapon of pure strategy and deadly intent. Panic began spreading among their ranks, confusion replacing confidence. Every move the Deathworlders made was calculated. Predicting enemy reactions, every strike weakened them further. While the fleet seemed untouchable, Kale walked the bridge, eyes sharp, watching his fleet respond perfectly. Adaptive shields online, defensive turrets ready. Prepare for their counterstrike, he said. The crew responded instantly, a single mind working across dozens of ships. Alien fighters attacked in waves, but the Deathworlders moved like ghosts. Every assault was destroyed before it could hit. Every strike countered with precision. The alien commanders realized too late that this was not just a battle. It was a lesson in the deadly efficiency of the Deathworlders beyond the shields and weapons. The secrets of the fleet revealed their terrifying ingenuity. Engines could maneuver faster than expected. Weapons could adjust mid-flight. Sensors detected traps, mines, and ambushes before they could be sprung. Every ship communicated instantly. Every attack synchronized. This was not chaos. This was control, calculation, and ruthless strategy. The aliens could not hope to match it on distant worlds. Civilians watched the battle feeds in awe. "They are not just warriors," whispered an elder. "They are hunters." The young stared in fear and wonder. Imagining the fleet as a living weapon, the Deathworlders had endured the deadliest planets, survived the harshest conditions, and now, all that experience was turned into perfect warfare. The galaxy would never again underestimate them. As the alien fleet tried to retreat and regroup, Kale gave the order to advance. Keep pressure, disable their logistics, and prepare for the strike at their main force. The Deathworlders moved like a storm. Unstoppable, calculating, merciless, every attack leaving the enemy weaker and terrified. The secrets of the fleet had been revealed, and the galaxy was beginning to understand the true danger of the Deathworlders. They were not just survivors, they were predators. And the final battle was only beginning. The Deathworlder fleet reached the heart of the alien forces. Massive cruisers, destroyers, and fighters filled the void like a living wall. Commander Kale studied the enemy formation carefully. "This is it," he said calmly. "All ships. Attack with precision." The fleet moved as one. Engines roaring, weapons ready, shields glowing. Alien commanders laughed at first, confident in their numbers and firepower. They believed arrogance and quantity would be enough. The first salvo erupted, energy beams streaking across space. Alien ships fired back, plasma blasts lighting the darkness. Explosions shook the Deathworlder ships, alarms screaming across every bridge. But the fleet moved with deadly precision, shields absorbing damage, weapons striking at the most critical points. Every maneuver was calculated, every attack coordinated. The aliens found themselves outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and overwhelmed. On the bridge of the flagship, Kale watched each strike. "Focus fire on the lead dreadnoughts, disable their engines. And the line will crumble," he ordered. Missiles streaked through the void. Energy beams cutting paths through alien hulls. Ships exploded, debris scattering in brilliant flashes of fire. Alien pilots panicked, formations breaking under the relentless assault. "What is happening?" One screamed, fear overtaking confidence. "This fleet moves as one. Unstoppable." The Deathworlders pressed forward, relentless. Smaller alien fighters were destroyed mid-flight by defensive turrets. Capital ships were crippled by precision strikes. Every move of the Deathworlder fleet seemed impossible. Almost unnatural, the aliens tried desperate maneuvers, hoping to outflank their opponent. But the fleet anticipated every tactic, every retreat, every trap. Chaos spread through the enemy ranks, panic replacing arrogance. Commander Reese Halle monitored the battle. Voice calm, shields at full capacity, weapons ready to fire. "Targeting command nodes," he reported. Kale nodded, eyes sharp, scanning the battlefield. The alien dreadnoughts, massive and powerful, tried to strike the flagship. Energy beams collided with shields, explosions rocking the deck. The fleet pressed on, shields adapting, weapons firing in perfect rhythm. Alien ships were falling faster than reinforcements could arrive. Across the void, the galaxy watched in awe and fear. Colonies trembled as the battle unfolded. The arrogance of the alien invaders was being crushed. Every strike of the Deathworlders left a mark. Every explosion sent a message. Underestimate them at your own risk. Even distant observers could feel the power of the fleet. The Deathworlders had arrived, and they were deadly. As the battle reached its climax, Kale focused on the enemy command cruiser. "This ends now," he said. The fleet concentrated fire. Beams and missiles striking in perfect unison, the dreadnought shuddered. Sparks and debris flying, engines failing. Remaining alien ships tried to retreat, but their formation was shattered. Panic spread like wildfire, confusion taking over. The Deathworlders were not just victorious, they were unstoppable. And yet, even as the enemy fell, Kale knew the final strike was coming. The heart of the alien fleet still remained. Massive and dangerous, every crew member braced for the next move. The galaxy watched, breathless. The final battle would determine who truly dominated the stars. And the Deathworlders would not fail. The final stretch of battle raged across the void. The alien command cruiser, massive and deadly, stood as the last obstacle. Commander Kale watched calmly from the bridge of his flagship. "All ships, focus fire on the command cruiser," he ordered. Every weapon on the fleet charged, energy beams glowing, missiles locked on. The crew responded instantly, precise and fearless. Alien defenses fired in desperation, plasma waves and missiles tearing through space. The Deathworlders' shields absorbed each strike. Engines maneuvering flawlessly, the flagship surged forward. Cutting a path through the enemy fleet, explosions lit the void. Hulls of alien ships crumbling under relentless fire. Panic spread among the invaders, their coordination failing. Every strike of the Deathworlders seemed impossible. Unstoppable and perfect, Commander Reese Hawley monitored the assault. Reporting calmly, all primary nodes hit. Secondary systems failing, enemy formation collapsing. Kale nodded. Eyes fixed on the command cruiser. "This is for every colony they attacked. Every convoy they destroyed," he said softly. The fleet pressed on, relentless and precise. Alien pilots abandoned their ships, fleeing in terror where possible. The arrogance of the invaders was crushed completely. Missiles struck the command cruiser's engines, explosions rocking its hull. Energy beams tore through weapon arrays and shields. The alien vessel shuddered, sparks flying, systems failing. The Deathworlder fleet surrounded it, unstoppable and deadly. A final coordinated strike hit the cruiser's core. A massive explosion lit the darkness of space. Debris scattering across the battlefield, the alien fleet was broken. Their morale shattered across the galaxy. Distant colonies watched the feeds. People cheered, cried, and whispered in awe. The Deathworlders had risen from the shadows to crush arrogance and tyranny. No one would ever underestimate them again. Their patience, skill, and ruthless efficiency had turned the tide. They had defended the innocent and punished the arrogant. The galaxy began to understand the true power of these warriors. Kale looked at his fleet, engines glowing softly. Weapons lowered but ready. "Hold formation," he said calmly. "We are victorious." But vigilance remains. The crew nodded, eyes proud, faces determined. Every officer and recruit understood the lesson. Humanity, or in this case, Deathworlders, was never to be underestimated. They survived the harshest worlds. Trained for the deadliest wars, and they struck with precision. Cunning and unstoppable will, the alien invaders retreated. Broken and humiliated, their arrogance destroyed. Their fleets in ruins, across the galaxy, whispers of the Deathworlders' strength spread. Leaders and civilians alike began to respect and fear the hidden warriors. The fleet, silent and dark, glided through the void, a symbol of cunning, strength, and the unstoppable spirit of a people forged by Deathworlds. As the sun rose over distant colonies, the story was clear. The galaxy had learned that those underestimated could rise and dominate. The Deathworlders had taught a lesson in ruthlessness, courage, and strategy. And the legacy of this battle would echo across the stars for generations. The fleet continued its silent patrol, ready for the next challenge. But one thing was certain: no one would ever dare to ignore them again. The Deathworlders had triumphed, and the galaxy would never forget their name.